The scariest part about control, it doesn't look like control at first. It looks like love. It sounds like I'm just trying to protect you. But slowly your world starts to shrink and you don't even realize this happening. Red flags that don't always look like red flags. Control doesn't start with rules. It doesn't always feel like control. In the beginning, it feels like interest, like attention, even with love. But if you look closely, there's a pattern, and if you've been through it, you'll recognize it in your body before your brain even catches up. Here's what early control can look like. They move too fast and call it love. They say things like, I've never felt this way before. You're the one. Let's move in together. All within weeks. It's intense, overwhelming, and feels like fate, but it's really a strategy to lock you in before you've had the time to think. They might overreact when plans change. You cancel or adjust plans last minute and suddenly they're cold, guilt tripping you or annoyed. It's not about the plan, it's about the control they thought they had. They don't take accountability, ever. They might say sorry, but it never sounds like I hurt you or I was wrong. Instead, it's you're too sensitive. I didn't mean it like that, or you always twist things. It leaves you feeling confused, like maybe you did something wrong. They want to know where you are all the time. At first, it seems sweet. Text me when you get there. Who's going to be there? But soon, it feels like surveillance, not support. They make all the decisions for you. They start deciding what you should wear, what job you should take, what friends are good for you. They say it's to help, but your choices start to disappear. They criticize disguised as jokes, snide comments about your appearance, maybe your parenting, friends, followed by, relax, I'm joking. But the sting is real and it starts to change how you see yourself. They might get jealous but call it protective. They question who you text, raise an eyebrow if you wear something they don't approve of, say your friends are a bad influence, and suddenly you start shrinking yourself to keep the peace. The thing is, these don't always feel like red flags in the moment. They feel like love, but looking back, you realize they weren't waving red. They were whispering, I will own you if I can. If you're watching this and wondering, is this happening to me? I created a quick free quiz that can help you spot control early. You'll find the link in the description below. And hey, while you're there, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of these important conversations. So, what is the difference between protectiveness versus control? One of the hardest things to see clearly, especially in the beginning, is the difference between someone who's being protective and someone who's trying to control you. Because they don't say, I'm going to control your life. They say, I'm just looking out for you. They say, I care too much to let you make that mistake. And that can feel really comforting, especially if you've been through pain before. But here's the truth. Protectiveness empowers. Control restricts. Protectiveness says, I trust you to make your own decisions. I'll be here to support you even when you mess up. I want to make you feel safer, not smaller. Control says, I know what's best for you. You're too emotional. You don't think clearly. You wouldn't be safe without me. If you loved me, you'd listen. Examples from real life control, I don't want you hanging out with her. She's toxic. So you stop seeing your friend and now you're more isolated. You don't need to work. I'll take care of everything. Now you have no income, no say, and no access. Why do you always dress like that? Who are you trying to impress? You change how you show up to avoid conflict. It's not protectiveness, it's a slow takeover of your body, your time, and your mind. Here's what I wish someone told me early on. Real love doesn't clip your wings to keep you close. It doesn't need to shrink you to feel secure. The most dangerous thing about control is how slowly it builds. It doesn't start with screaming or threats. It starts with suggestions, little boundaries, subtle pressure, and over time you lose pieces of yourself without even realizing it. Here's how it typically escalates. Small limits framed as care. They don't like your friends. They say your family is toxic. They want to be the only person you talk to. It starts to feel like love, but it's actually isolation. Number two, they might guilt and blame. They get upset if you take time for yourself. If you're upset, it's because you're too sensitive. If they lash out, it's because you made them feel disrespected. Number 3, loss of freedom and resources. Suddenly you don't have access to the car or the money or time alone. You're the full-time caregiver even when they're home. They don't say you can't go anywhere, but you can't, and without paying a price. Number 4, punishment. They give you the silent treatment, walk out mid-conversation, sleep in another room, turn the kids against you. They don't have to raise their voice to dominate you. They punish with coldness, with absence, with emotional withdrawal. Number 5, mental and emotional collapse. You start questioning your memory. You think maybe you are the problem. You apologize when you didn't do anything wrong. You stop asking for help. You stop speaking up. This is how people lose themselves. It's a slow, calculated erosion of your confidence, your clarity, and your identity. If any of this feels familiar, I want you to know you are not overreacting. You're not imagining things, you're noticing them. And the sooner you name control for what it is, the sooner you can begin to take your power back. And one important reminder about patterns versus one-time mistakes. Before we go any further, I want to say this clearly. It's not about labeling someone for making a poor choice once or twice. Everyone makes mistakes sometimes. What you want to watch for is a pattern of behavior. Is this happening again and again? Is there a consistent disregard for your feelings, boundaries, or needs? That's when the red flags truly show themselves. Trust your gut when you notice these repeating patterns. They're your early warning system. Here's what you can do. Name it, but only to yourself. If I could give you one piece of advice, do not bring this up to them. If you try to confront or talk about these behaviors, they won't take accountability. Instead, they'll flip it around on you, saying you're the problem, you're too sensitive, or you're misunderstanding everything. They don't want you to know you're onto them. So keep your insights to yourself, at least for now. Start documenting. Notice the patterns. I kept a list in my phone, little things that didn't feel right. Looking back, that list saved me. It helped me stop gaslighting myself and trusting my own truth again. Step 2, watch who you share with. Start building your support system carefully. Reach out to someone who makes you feel heard and safe. But if you start talking and feel dismissed, shut it down. That person may not be safe for this part of your story, and that's okay. It doesn't make them bad. Some people just can't understand the kind of evil that wears a soft face. Step 3, get educated on what you're dealing with. If you can, work with a therapist, especially one who understands domestic violence or narcissistic abuse, trauma. If that's not possible right now, find online groups or trusted resources. Start reading, watching, and learning everything you can about coercive control, manipulation, and trauma bonding. This knowledge isn't just for romantic relationships. Manipulative and controlling behaviors show up in families, friendships, and even at work. Learning the basics of how manipulation works can help you spot these signs early and hopefully save yourself a lot of pain and stress down the road. And if you're a parent, teaching your children about these behaviors is one of the best gifts you could give them. Giving them the tools early helps set them up for healthier relationships and boundaries throughout their lives. Knowledge is power, especially when you're being controlled and gaslit. Step 4, plan quietly for safety and independence. Start separating your life quietly. Open a private email. Set aside money if it's possible, just a few dollars at a time. Make copies of important documents. Pack a go bag for you and your kids and keep it somewhere safe. Think about shared apps, tracking locations. Plan to leave it all behind if you have to. It might not happen today, and that's okay. But every step you take now plants a seed of freedom. If this episode helped you see your situation with more clarity, please like, share, and subscribe. Your story matters, and you never know who else needs to hear this today. If you want to learn more about my journey and how I escaped coercive control, check out my series, Abuse Without Bruises, right here on my channel. Remember, you are not crazy, you are not alone, and your truth is valid. Thanks for watching and trusting me to share this with you. Stay strong, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.